Repeat it.
Thursday, January 21st, 6 p.m. Zoom Citizens Board Review Board meeting is called to order.
The Citizens Police Review Board is meeting virtually due to the Safer at Home order issued by the governor and the mayor's proclamation. Members, if called upon to vote, a roll call will be taken and their vote will be announced at that point in time. Ms. Gooms, would you go ahead and do the roll call, please?
Pamela Corbett.
I'm here.
Leon McCullough. Emma James. Brittany Spees. Tony Burton.
Present.
Kathy McLean.
Present.
Michael Fraden.
Present.
Beverly Carter Levy. Tawana Roebuck.
Present.
Theodis Chun.
Present.
Michael Riker.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of summary of minutes for the regular meeting, October 15th, 2020. Have you all had a chance to look at the minutes for that October 15th meeting? Are there any amendments, changes, deletions?
If not, then I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Mr. Chair, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second that we accept the minutes as written. Are you ready for the question?
And we'll have
All
the
those
secretary
in-
do the roll call for a vote.
Exactly.
Ms. Gooms, will you do the roll call for the vote, please?
Tawana Roebuck.
Present.
Vote yes.
For
on
the
mi-
vote.
Vote yes on the minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am voting yes on the minutes.
Okay. Theodis Chun.
Yes.
Okay. Tony Burton.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you do all of them? Theodis Chun?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
There's 3.
okay. There should be 6 members. Did you call everybody?
Okay, 3 that voted yes on the motion,
You taking a vote on the minutes from all the members present,
and there's 6 present tonight.
right? So
Oh.
did you call everybody's name? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I did not. Pamela
Okay.
Corbett.
Yes.
Okay. Kathleen McLean.
Yes.
Okay. Michael Fraden.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, all right. So the minutes for October 15, 2020 have been approved.
Okay.
So now you have the second set of minutes, Mr. Chair, for November 5th, 2020.
Correct. If there are no objections or no changes, we'll accept the motion on those also.
Okay.
Need a
I'm gonna-
motion to,
And I repeat the names
On
again.
the-
why? Tawana, we can't hear you. You're on
on
mute.
mute.
I make a motion, I'm sorry, I make a motion that we accept the minutes of November the 5th as printed.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
That motion has been made and properly second, and we'll have the secretary do the roll call for the count.
Okay. Theodis Chun.
Yes.
Okay. Tawana Roebuck.
Yes.
Michael Fraden.
Yes.
Kathy McLean.
Yes.
Tony Burton.
Yes.
Pamela Corbett.
Yes.
So the minutes have been properly approved. The next item on the agenda is the report, annual report. Are y'all
Good
ready
evening,
for
guys.
next item?
Good evening, guys. My name is Captain Manny Gomez with the Professional Standards Division. I'm going to deliver the annual report. We've covered quarters 1, 2, and 3 throughout the year. Quarter 4, we received a total of 3 citizen complaints with a total of 8 allegations. Those consisted of courtesy, use of force, and departmental reports. Those were the allegations. Those 3 citizen complaints are still being actively investigated. For the year, we received a total of 19 complaints, which resulted in 51 total allegations. And those are broken down, as you guys see down there, to arrest, search, and seizure, courtesy, departmental directives, use of force, unsatisfactory performance, abuse of position, abuse of process, departmental reports, and truthfulness. And the closures are listed off to the side, and that's for the citizen complaints. Does anybody have any questions regarding those reports?
Not sure, sir, if it's specific to your report you just gave. Thank you for your information. I recall that previously we were scheduled to meet to discuss a claim, and it was canceled due to bad weather. So my question is, where does that claim stand? Is it continuing or is it resolved?
I'll be happy to answer that, Manny.
Thank you.
That particular appellant decided that he would rather for the Citizen Police Review Board to review that appeal, which will be reviewed in closed session post-COVID. So he was informed that might be later on in the year, because he apparently did not want the review board to review it via Zoom. So I will let you know when that one is rescheduled, but it's more than likely will be heard or reviewed at the end of the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
No one. Does anybody have any questions regarding the citizen reports? If not, I'll transition to the departmental reports. Okay. So transitioning to the departmental reports, again, we've covered quarter 1, 2, and 3 in earlier meetings. So for the fourth quarter, we had a total of 8 internal complaints with a total of 7 allegations. 12 allegations. And those were broken down as arrest, search, and seizure, conduct unbecoming, departmental directives, duty requirements, conformance to laws, unsatisfactory performance, truthfulness, and operation of motor vehicles. If you look at the total number of complaints internally within the department, we had a total of 65 complaints, comprised of 78 different allegations. And those are all listed within the report. The only 3 additional rule of conduct violations that are associated with these allegations are associations, use of force, and abuse of position, other than the ones I just listed. So does anybody have any questions regarding those? Okay.
Manny, if you don't mind, we have a guest. Do you want to introduce Sergeant Glenn?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I skipped right over him. So as you guys know, anytime we get a new person assigned to the Professional Standards Division, we introduce them to the Citizens Police Review Board, since we work so closely with you guys here at the Professional Standards Division. Sergeant Alex Glenn, and I'll let him introduce himself to you guys here in a minute. Sergeant Glenn took the position of Sergeant J.J. Pete, who retired at the end of the year. So upon his retirement, Sergeant Glenn got the nod to come up to the Professional Standards Division. We're excited to have him. So I'll let him introduce himself to you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Captain Gomez. Good evening to the members of the board. My name is Alex Glenn. I actually this month I celebrate 25 years with the city, so I'm very proud of that. I have served in the recruiting unit from 2003 to 2007, and then back to patrol, served some time as a court liaison for the department. Had opportunity to meet one of the members on the board, Mike Fraden, had opportunity to meet him there. served some time in the school unit as a school resource officer, and then again back to patrol. And now I've finally been asked to come to the Professional Standards Division. I'm very proud to be here. Glad to be a member of this team, and I look forward to the rest of my time here.
Okay. So there are no questions, I take it, with respect to the quarterly summary of complaints, either the departmental or citizen complaints, questions, concerns? If not, Mr. Chair, I guess we're ready to go to the next item.
Do we need to approve those or just move on?
No, you don't have to approve those. You just receive them.
All right, so we'll move on to new business. And Ms. Roebuck.
Wait a minute, before you do the new business, the report of the nominating committee and selection officers.
I did miss that.
Okay. All right, from the nominating committee, who's gonna make the reports? One of the members?
We're missing one of our members here in this speeds as well. I think it was myself, Brittany, and Tawana, if I recall, correct?
Correct. So why don't we do this jointly in case I don't remember everything? I didn't realize it would be on the agenda. So the nominating committee met. One of the things that we discussed was potential officers such as president and vice president. Our recommendation is that someone on the nominating committee was going to talk to the current chair and co-chair. And I believe they both have said yes. I do hope, Tony, that that rings true. So we looked at that as a possibility that we wanted to submit up. Mike, do you recall other things that we talked about?
No, I think that, I mean, that covers it once the interest with the current members. And Tony, I do have documentation here that you said you were interested. So I have that email. That's the way that I recall it as well. So,
One of the things that we talked about, Mike, I don't know if you remember, doing the nominating committee is perhaps as a nominating committee, if we could learn more about the process. It was a little awkward for the nominating committee, given a number of us on the committee were brand new. And so
I think that's where our limitations were, obviously, with Tony and Michael. There were no complaints, so they're doing a good job. We seemed the easiest path to go down. So yeah, we didn't know anyone else that would be better at that position than the current members.
So what the nominating committee discussed is potentially throughout the year, we certainly will be of those members as we learn them more. And potentially if we are asked to serve on the nominating committee again, we might have more details with even consideration around expanding the process a bit. But for the time being, we were in agreement because we were so new on the committee that if Tony and the other gentleman would be willing to serve again, we certainly wanted to extend that invitation for them to serve and represent us.
Okay. So in terms of the chair, the nominating committee is recommending Mr. Burton. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Are there nominations from the floor? Okay.
Angela,
Mm-hmm.
as a point of clarification, the gentleman who currently serves as our vice chair, he is actually, I think it's Mr. Riker, he is actually on active duty. And so when I reached out to him, the email that I received back indicated such, and it did not, it was like an automatically generated message, and it did not indicate when he would be back. And so my instruction was to attempt to follow up with him, but knowing that since we had not been able to speak with him prior to tonight's meeting, unless they were able to get in touch with him or unless he came back since the time I met with the nominating committee, there may need to be a nomination from the floor.
Okay. So why don't we take the nomination committee's report as it relates to the chair first, and then do the vice chair next. And the committee, the CPRB, could very well decide to delay the vice chair until you or the nominating committee is able to get up with Mr. Riker. Why don't we
I
take,
actually, when we get to the point of talking about the vice chair, I could discuss Robert Rules of Order in
Mhm.
terms of sometimes what's recommended for officers. I don't know all of the officers with this body, but sometimes the chair and even the vice chair, a person conducting the meeting could be the secretary, it could be the treasurer, it could be an appointed person
right,
that could rule as vice chair for a meeting until this is resolved. It's usually spelled out in a number of Robert's Rules of Order.
mhm, mhm. Why don't we take the nominating committee's report as to the chair and have the committee, the Citizens Review Board, accept the report as to the chair and then vote on that. And then you all can discuss kind of what you want to do on the vice chair. How's that sound?
I think that's great.
Okay. Mr. Chair, you want to go ahead and call for the question on the nominating committee's report as to the chair?
Sure. At this point, I guess because of the fact that I am sitting chair, I'll go ahead and accept if you all vote for me. So we'll call it to question. And Madam Secretary, if you do the roll call.
Oh, take a motion first.
Motion. I'm sorry.
So a motion is made from the nominating committee for Mr. Tony Burton to potentially be the chairman of the Board Advisory Board. I
Okay,
think we're called
Second.
Police Advisory Board. Is that what it is?
Citizen Police Review Board.
Yes, yes. So that is a recommendation coming from the nominating committee. And we want to make a motion from the nominating committee.
Okay.
Pamela Corbett,
So is there a second to the motion to approve Tony Burton as chair?
Pamela, you're on mute.
Okay. There's a second. Go ahead and do the roll call.
okay, Pamela Corbett,
Pamela, you're still on mute.
Yes,
okay. Kathy McLean,
Yes.
Michael Fraden,
Yes.
Tawana Robot,
Yes,
Theodore Strachan,
Yes.
Did you call all six? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Tony Burton,
I will
Yes.
abstain.
Okay.
You can vote for yourself. So is that everybody?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So what do y'all want to do in terms of the vice chair?
so my recommendation in concert with the Robert's Rules of Order, I don't know all of the officers for this body, but certainly if there is a board secretary or treasurer, perhaps that person could stand in until we have a final recommendation or feedback from the gentleman that was on the slate for vice chair.
The secretary is an employee of the city and not a board member. So you don't have a treasurer. So it has to be somebody from the Citizen Police Review Board that's willing to serve, I guess, temporarily until you can speak with Mr. Riker when he returns. So is there somebody that's willing to volunteer to serve temporarily?
Or we can take a nomination.
Mike, are you willing to serve as vice chair?
Me?
Yes.
That's the way to put them on the spot.
And you do have some members who've been around a little bit longer if you want to ask a current.
Well, I was going to say if we could take some nominations from the floor, that might be a better course of action. Not knowing when Mr. Riker would be back either, it might be best if we could have some experienced nominations from the floor.
Thank you.
I nominate Pamela.
I second.
A motion's been made from the floor.
Wait a minute, let her speak.
yeah, discussion. We're talking about a temporary person until Dr. Riker is back and we can talk with him, correct?
That's correct.
I just want to make sure everybody was clear about that. And yeah, fine. As long as Tony keeps showing up, doesn't make any difference. So I'll be a stand-in until Mike gets back.
So the motion from the floor was to accept Pamela Corbett as vice chair. moving forward
Temporary.
temporarily. I make sure I put that part in there. And it was seconded, correct?
I would second it.
So Madam Secretary, if you call roll.
Theodore Chun,
Yes.
Tawana Robert,
Yes.
Martin Fraden,
Yes.
Kathy McLean,
Yes.
Tony Burton,
Yes.
Pamela Corbett.
And Kathy, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Pamela.
So we
Okay,
have
she's jumping in.
Mr. Burton as the chair and Ms. Corbett as the vice chair, temporary vice chair. All right, I think we're ready for the next item, Mr. Chair.
All right, new business, and I'll turn the floor over to Ms. Roebuck for a report.
So I'm currently a member of the Homeless Council. There is something also referred to as an operating cabinet, and I'm vice chair of the operating cabinet. So there are a variety of agencies throughout the community that address the needs of the homeless when the temperatures drop below 32 degrees and there is inclement weather. As the vice chair of the Homeless Council, I was able to negotiate with the county manager as well as the county commissioners to donate us a space on Highland Avenue. It's actually 725 Highland Avenue. It is one of the sites that used to be behavioral health. I believe now it's referred to as Annex 1. It is an auditorium that's there with the property of the behavioral health complex. It is an auditorium. We have taped off some of the rows for social distancing. We are prepared to receive anywhere from 25 to 30 guests. The hours of operation is from 6:30 in the afternoon to 6:30 in the morning. We are partnering with City with Dwellings, as well as Bethesda Center, as well as Samaritan Ministries. We also receive volunteers from the Presbyterian Church that's downtown. So we have volunteers from that location as well. I bring it up in this setting because we have both sheriff and police representatives. We want to make sure that we're communicating to both services, police and sheriff, that the preference is for you to go to the Bethesda Center first prior to coming to the City of Dwellings. This is designed such that if there are no beds, excuse me, if there are no beds available at Bethesda Center, then the guests can be routed to the White Flag Center. City with Dwellings will pick them up in a van at the Bethesda Center and drive them over to the Highland Avenue location. We've had a bit of a challenge with the police department. It has been resolved in that they were just dropping people off that they were picking up from the street. And again, the first choice is to send people to the Bethesda Center because they have cots and beds. What we have are seats in an auditorium. Furthermore, we opened on January the 6th. And so what we have experienced so far is we've had a mental health person that needed some help in the middle of the night. We also had a lady that was picked up at the bus station by the police. We ended up taking her to the emergency room. She was very pregnant. So far, it's going very well. We have been engaged in some situations that, quite frankly, we probably are not equipped to do. But in terms of a process, for example, tonight it's closed. It was sort of warmer today, as well as it is not projected to be below 32 degrees tonight. And so currently I send out an email every day. And Tony, if you'll put in the message chat box your email so you can be included. Mr. Police Officer that's on this Zoom, the message goes to Dr. Pamela Peoples-Joyner. And certainly my board member, David Rose, is on the email as well. But we communicate to everyone if it's open or if it's not open. In working with the City of Dwellings, they have been very gracious to make sure that no one is left outside. And then we go to Bethesda Center first is to find out if there are beds available. The first choice is to try to get people in a bed. We've also had to negotiate with Novant's emergency room because they were discharging people in the middle of the night. So we have encouraged them to refrain from discharging guests and please discharge them in the morning so that we can connect them to the necessary resources throughout the day. City with Dwellings has a relationship with one of the local hotels where we are prepared to serve. We refer to them as medically fragile. And so the medically fragile could be people that have been diagnosed positive with COVID-19, or they may have medical issues that is preventing them from stabilizing themselves for whatever reason. We have been blessed, to be honest, for it to go very well. The county has asked us to refer to it as the White Flag Center. The county has stated that they are not providing services for shelters. You know, I smiled and said, we can call it whatever you want, as long as we have a building. But it's referred to as the White Flag Center. You could hear where there's a White Flag Center in Greensboro as well. So we pretty much mirror the same program and processes. Once we have some people at the White Flag Center, we have box dinners that are brought over for the guests from Samaritan Ministries. And so there's a meal provided, we've got water, and we have blankets. The people get to keep the blankets. So it's gone very well. The numbers have been fairly low in terms of attendance. The highest it's been is 4 one night and as low as 2. I'm not sure if everyone is aware, there's at least 50 homeless camps in the woods here in Winston-Salem. We have an outreach team that's a part of City with Dwellings that go out to do outreach in the woods to encourage people to come in. We have been told because our time ends at 6:30 in the morning, by the time they hunker in, they can sleep in. So not many people have taken us up on this opportunity, especially if they're already sheltered in place. But it is going fairly well. There's about 75 people, 75 to 100 people in the woods. And they're in a variety of places throughout the city. But we are working with them. We have something called by name only, where we are aware of the residents that are sleeping in the woods. We try to take information to them about services that they might qualify for, as well as we try to connect them to whatever medical resources they might have. But I'm glad that I have the opportunity to share this with the sheriff, as well as with the police, so that perhaps doing roll call or whatever y'all do, you can be made aware that this facility is available. I'll pause to see if people have questions of me.
Mr.
Mr.
Provo, I
yes.
just wanted to address, obviously you have some valuable information, and we at the police department take that information and we actually share that information. We are familiar with the White Flag Center. Other members of our department, to include Dr. Peoples-Joyner, have put out that information to include our downtown bike patrol. So we're familiar, and we're doing everything in our power to ensure that we assist you guys in help in addressing some of this homeless population to ensure that everyone is safe. So thank you for the information, and we will reach out to Dr. Joyner, Peoples-Joyner, to ensure that we continue to work with you guys. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I'll make sure I also communicate that to Sergeant Little.
We have a shelter monitor. Thank you. We have a shelter monitor that stays overnight. The volunteers from the church leave about 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm there most nights, and I leave about 9 or 10 o'clock as well. We did not open tonight, and we didn't open last night.
Again, I'll make sure that Sergeant Little is aware of this program. He works with Dr. Peoples also.
Mr.
Anything
Chair,
else on that?
not on that, but I do want to make a statement with respect to appeal number 103.
Go right ahead.
Just in the event not everyone received my email regarding appeal number 103, the appellant, as I mentioned earlier, decided that he did not want the review board to review his appeal virtually. He's also filed some other complaints, and may be in the process of appealing those as well. So he also wanted all the appeals heard at one time. Based upon both of those, I conveyed to the appellant that it's most likely that the appeal then will have to be reviewed at the end of the year, post-COVID, when everybody can get together in person and review it. So that's why that has been delayed. He requested it, so.
Thank you for that update. And thank you for sending that email out about that also. Is there any other questions regarding that? If not, the next thing I have on the agenda is our next meeting is scheduled for April the 15th, 2021. Pam, I'll tell you now, I won't be there, so you can handle that for me. And the only reason I won't be there, that's tax day and also my son's birthday.
It is
But
tax.
I'll be there. I'm messing with you, Pam, but it is my son's birthday, but I'll be there. Any other questions regarding the agenda? Anything that I missed? Anything for the good of the order?
I think that's it for me.
If not, then I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. I hope everybody stays safe. Enjoy your week and enjoy the new processes that are going on, and make sure you cover yourself with COVID. It is still alive and well. We need to make sure we protect ourselves. So wear your mask.
All
Have a
right,
good-
be safe. Have a good evening,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Thank you.